Hello, fellow Muppet fans, and welcome once again to Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we watch the Muppet Christmas Carol 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And today we have a return guest. He was here with us for The Muppets Take Manhattan. He's back with us again. We're very happy to have him. Guest, please introduce yourself.
Hello, it's Patrick Cotnoir.
Patrick Cotnoir.
How are you?
Of the George Lucas talk show and numerous other pursuits.
Yes. Too many pursuits to list, but that's
Thank you for being with us once again.
Thanks for having me. I was so psyched to come back. I loved being on last time. We talked about Piggy bending steel bars and creepy construction workers and Statler and Waldorf self-tanning.
Yes.
Those
neither
the big three topics of conversation.
Neither Piggy nor Statler and Waldorf nor construction workers are in these minutes, but we'll do the best we can. And today we are talking about minutes 13 and 14 of the Muppet Christmas Carol, in which Scrooge is not amused by his nephew Fred, and Bunsen and Beaker ask for a donation. So we pick up with the rats cheering for Fred's rousing speech about Christmas spirit.
Well, I've kind of meant to say this last time, but I forgot. The rats applauding is kind of right out of the book.
Really?
Because after Fred says that line, the narrator says, the clerk in the tank involuntarily applauded.
So I got to rewatch Mickey's Christmas Carol, but I think Mickey Mouse involuntarily applauds in that one when Donald Duck gives his speech.
Speaking of rats.
Yeah.
You know?
Rats, mice. Yeah, the best adaptations have little critters in them.
Yeah.
So,
the Mercer Mayer's Little Critter Christmas Carol.
Man, I wish there were a Mercer Mayer Christmas Carol.
Did they
I don't
they
know.
did animated stuff, right? Am I making that up?
I think so in the 80s.
Yeah.
I believe.
I can tell you that when I was a kid, I rented a couple of VHS tapes of Mercer Mayer stories that were sort of the like barely animated thing where it's like a picture from the book and maybe one element of it moves.
Oh, sure. It's like they're like holding a ball and then the ball drops.
Yeah, something like
kind
that.
of stuff. Yeah.
Now, I don't want to get off on a Mercer Mayer tangent.
No.
What are they? Are they hamsters? Are they rabbits?
Well, so there's little critter.
They're little critters.
He's a little
They're just
critter.
critters.
It's generic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's also, isn't there Little Monster? That's a separate Mercer Mayer
Well,
series.
but the little critter books have different, like one of my son's favorites is Just a Bully.
Sure.
And in Just a Bully, the bully is an alligator or a crocodile. Like it's it's nowhere near the same. It's not even a mammal.
There is also Little Monsters, and I'm remembering these now, but I like the Little Monsters a lot better. I find them a lot less creepy than the little critters.
Yeah, well, my favorite was Little Monsters Bedtime Book, which is really just a series of poems about weird monsters and their personalities and their habits.
It's great. Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Blue cover.
Yeah, I remember one of them was called the Kerplopus. Like that guy. Anyway, Little Monsters Bedtime Stories. Check it out, everyone. Oh, and of course the Zipper-Umpa Zoos, which are these little sort of fuzzy guys that remind me of the ink spots from Fraggle Rock, which are also in this movie.
Mercer Mayer, still alive.
How old is he?
78 years old.
Oh, wow.
That's younger than I would have guessed.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah, glad he's still out there.
Yeah.
As of this recording, he is still alive.
Yes,
we should say that.
No, we don't want to jinx anything.
No, yes.
So, we're like 2 seconds into this clip. Scrooge asks them how one would celebrate Christmas on the unemployment line, which shuts up the rats very quickly.
And it's also, I feel like that's one of in my brain, the most iconic Michael Caine line readings in this movie. I feel like when I think of Michael Caine in this movie, that is like one of the like 2 or 3 lines that like go into my head immediately. I don't know why.
Well, as we discussed, he says it twice. Because earlier he said, how would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly unemployed?
Yeah.
And then here he says, celebrate Christmas on the unemployment. Like, it's truly Scrooge's catchphrase. Like, I don't know why, but they decided yelling, you'll be unemployed at his staff. He probably does it many times a day, I hope.
Yeah, it's very scary.
It's I think, as we discussed, one of those is also in the trailer. So that might have helped.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if that's what it is.
Just remember it from that.
Yeah, if you had another movie with this trailer on it.
Yeah, I bet that's it. I never would have even thought of that. I bet that's it.
Gonzo tells us that in these times, it was customary on Christmas Eve for well-meaning gentlemen to call upon businesses collecting donations for the poor and homeless. As he delivers this exposition, he's using Rizzo as a bellows to keep the fire going. Like, he's just holding his legs and squeezing him, and Rizzo is blowing into the fire. It's not commented upon. Like, there's no shot where Gonzo is like, "Oh, here, we need to keep the fire going." It's just a funny little gag that's happening.
It's just happening.
A lot of good Rizzo puppetry in this movie. That was something I was paying attention to this time. Like, they use him very interestingly and, like, do a lot of fun gags with him, which I feel like they don't necessarily do in the other movies as much as this one. And I wonder why. I don't know why that is.
I don't know. Yeah, when you say that, the first thing I think of is a little later in the movie when he's in that barrel and he's looking up at Gonzo and tapping his foot.
Yeah.
Impatiently, which is another fun.
I don't know why the rat puppetry impresses me more than almost any other puppetry. You know what I mean? Because I think it's because they're so small.
Because they're so tiny.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
they
get a lot of expression out of those little puppets.
Yeah. This also, sorry to interrupt, I was watching the Blu-ray of this, and I don't know if you guys have talked about this. When you pause the Blu-ray, it goes to one of those, like, it cuts to another video of the rats singing Christmas carols.
We haven't mentioned that. What is that feature called?
Oh, yeah.
It's called, like, Intermission or something like that.
I think it might just be called Intermission. It's fun. Sometimes I kind of wish that it weren't happening, but I think you can go back to the movie just by pressing the button again, right?
Yeah. I didn't know it existed, and I paused the movie, and then it just started happening.
Yeah.
It's called Disney Intermission.
Disney Intermission. I think they shot, like, maybe, I don't know, 5, I don't know how many of these. They were new when the movie came out on Blu-ray.
Here we go. You ready? For the Muppets, 2012, there's 6 clips.
6,
For the Christmas Carol, Swedish Chef reads A Visit from St. Nicholas while chickens sing Oh Christmas Tree. Rats sing We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Rats sing Jingle Bells. Chickens sing Joy to the World. Chickens and penguins sing Deck the Halls. And then they do, like, a karaoke thing for the original Muppet movie one.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool. I wonder if there's a way they could add that to Disney Plus. There must be, right?
I mean, there's so
like
many
you could
things
choose to turn on or off the intermission.
Yeah.
So the door to the office opens, and here comes Bunsen and Beaker. Now, there's a couple of notable things about their appearance in this movie. I might be forgetting something, but this is maybe one of the first times, or the first time that we see the two of them outside the context of being scientists.
Oh, wow.
They're just these two guys collecting money for the poor in this movie. I guess there was no natural way for them to be conducting experiments or inventing something in Dickensian London.
That's interesting. Because I guess they sort of expand on that later on. Like, you see them on vacation, or you see them, like, doing other stuff that is not directly related to science. But in
Muppets Tonight,
that's exactly what I was thinking.
They have lives outside the studio. Yeah, but even in Muppet Treasure Island, when we see them, they're like making stuff explode. So that's even more tied.
They're the doctor. They're the doctor and his assistant. So it's
still tied back.
Yeah.
To the Muppet Labs vibe.
Right. I was thinking, Great Muppet Caper, they're just kind of at the hotel, right?
Oh, that's true.
Sciencey? I mean, Beaker's eyes light up like light bulbs, but that's just because he gets
electric. That's not an experiment.
But Anthony, what is electricity if not a part of science?
Fair enough. I can't argue with that.
Science. But yeah, in the book, I guess it is also 2 men in the book, Anthony, is that correct? Collecting for charity?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I guess it just made sense for this to be where Bunsen and Beaker would go in the movie. I believe this is also Steve Whitmire's first performance as Beaker after Richard Hunt passed away.
I think it has to be. I can't
think of any other projects where Beaker would have appeared. So, and he sounds great. I mean, there's not a lot to Beaker's voice, really. It's just high-pitched me. But I've heard Steve say in interviews that Beaker's voice is done by inhaling and making those squeaky sounds rather than just making the sounds while exhaling, which Like I've tried impersonating Beaker that way, and it's not.
Well, you would
easy,
think you would just run out of run out of air. You know, if you're inhaling that much, like you're just like
right. That eventually you would have.
I guess not run out of air. You would have too much air, I guess is what I was trying to say. But
something like that. Yeah.
Right. Well, and the other thing about Beaker being Steve Whitmire now means that Bunsen and Beaker are now yet another Dave Goelz, Steve Whitmire team.
Yes, that's right.
Which means that there are two in the room, right? So
right, yes.
And so are Bunsen and Beaker.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, increasingly in this era of the Muppets, we're seeing the Dave Goelz and Steve Whitmire
What else do
teams.
we have later on? What are the other ones that pop up?
Well, Andy and Randy Pig are going to come up.
Oh, sure.
On Muppets Tonight. Course. They had been Wembley and Boober were often paired together on Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Statler and Waldorf for a little while.
Statler and Waldorf for a while, yeah.
Sure.
Rugby Tiger and Mew in the Christmas Toy.
Well, there's Stinky and Jake on the Animal Show.
Stinky and, right. Animal Show. There's another one like that, right? There's another, like, not really classic Muppets one.
Of course, Lips and Zoot.
Right,
everyone's favorite duo.
The two most talkative,
those pals,
and distinctive. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it just seemed. I think they enjoyed working together, and they just kept pairing them up in those days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's a Jim Henson Hour one or something. That's yes, of course. Milton the Golden Toad and Wilf the Howler Monkey on Song of the Cloud Forest.
Yeah, that's a great example. And then when you said Jim Henson Hour, I immediately thought, aren't they the two main characters in the inner tube TV pilot? Those weird looking
they
mechanic puppets.
They're like Mario and Luigi looking guys.
Yeah. I don't one of them is I can't remember their names. I'm disappointed with myself, but I can't remember their names.
I'm just
the two
scrolling
characters
through...
from Innertube TV.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take this one.
Anyway,
we got to close this loop. Hang on, we got to look this up. We can't just.
You're gonna look it up?
No, I think we got to leave it in. We got to leave it in. All right, Innertube. Okay, do you want to take a guess? Because I have the things pulled up right now.
So, Jake and. I remember Richard Hunt is Basher. I remember that, but he's not one of the main guys.
Is it something like Clarence?
Nope, it is not. Jake is correct.
And that's Steve Whitmire, right? Jake is Whitmire?
Jake is Goals.
Jake is Goals, okay. So Whitmire is named Wooten. I don't remember.
You got it. It's Wooten. No, it's Henry.
Henry, okay.
There it is.
Jake and Henry.
No wonder that wasn't super memorable.
Yeah, that great Steve Dave team.
Well, there you have it. I also want to say about Bunsen and Beaker, we've raved about the costumes in this movie in previous episodes, and we have firmly established throughout the history of this podcast that we like seeing the Muppets in winterwear, and this is like possibly the apex of all of that, because Bunsen and Beaker look great in these Dickensian costumes all bundled up.
Everyone does. Yeah. It's like fascinating seeing a lot of like Fraggle Rock characters, or just like those weird 80s Henson puppets in winter clothes. Just like any clothes is always very fascinating when they're like weird creatures that probably were not initially intended to be wearing clothes.
That's true, right? A lot of the ones from Fraggle Rock who were recycled here were just naked in their original appearances.
Yeah. Polly Smith, though. You know?
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah. And I especially like Beaker's top hat, which is basically like just an extension of his head, because his head is just this cylindrical object, and the top hat is just kind of continuing the same shape. So these characters appear in some other adaptations of A Christmas Carol, but not all. I think some adaptations just sort of assume that it's enough for us to see Scrooge being mean to nephew Fred, and that we don't need to see him yelling at these two other guys.
Yeah.
But, of course, I would be remiss if I did not point out that they were played by Ratty and Moley in Mickey's Christmas Carol. Not the most well-known Disney characters, so I don't know how they landed on those two.
From Wind in the Willows, right?
Yes, from the Adventures of Ichabod Crane and
Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's so funny.
And then in the Rich Little special, they were played by Rich Little's impressions of Laurel and Hardy, which actually kind of works. Like that's, I'll give him that.
Wow. Ryan praising Rich Little.
Ryan?
Well,
mark down the day.
I'm not going to say they're
folks.
good impressions. I'm just saying it makes sense to cast them as these two characters.
Ryan keeps saying, in Mickey's Christmas Carol, this character was played by this. In Rich Little's, this character was played by this. He keeps doing it as though those are the two most important adaptations of a Christmas
No,
Carol.
I tell you what it is. Those two are the ones who cast most of the characters.
Right.
Pre-existing.
Well, right, and it would also be boring to be like in the
Jim Smith in the 1933 adaptation.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know.
And I'll leave that up to you, Anthony, because you're more familiar with all these other movies.
Right, but I mean, I don't know who plays all the characters in the George C. Scott movie or whatever.
Right, and if it's just a British character actor, it's not as interesting.
And if it's the Zemeckis one, you can probably just say Jim Carrey.
Right, it's Jim Carrey.
It probably is.
Except it's Gary Oldman as Tiny Tim.
So weird.
It's true. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, and I'm
That's
also
so weird.
I'm also not gonna say like, oh, and by the way, in the Flintstones version, they didn't include these characters. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that would
But
be
you
even more
did
pointless.
just say it.
Well, I did say it now. Yes.
Uh,
I'm just explaining because you challenged me. I'm explaining why I'm bringing up Mickey and Rich Little every time.
Well, like 4 times now you've brought up Rich Little, and every time the guest is like incredulous that you're bringing up Rich Little.
No, I
I've
love
established the pattern. I gotta
Yeah.
stick with it.
Yeah. I mean, the Muppets are the only reason why I know who Rich Little is.
That makes sense.
You know?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that this is where it gets talked about.
Right?
So, Bunsen introduces the two of them. They're from the Order of Victoria Charity Foundation. I assume this is not a real charity, but it sounds very official.
As far as I could tell, it is not.
Right.
Was never a real charity. But Victoria was, of course, the Queen of England at the time the book was published and takes place.
Right.
So it would make sense.
Yes.
I mean, it makes as much sense as anything.
Yeah.
She was also the Queen of England for 64 years.
That's a pretty long time.
Too long.
Which is, it's like not as long
But-
as the current Queen.
Yeah, I was
but
going to say,
still,
how long
like,
has
it's
this
wild.
one been the queen?
She just
75?
passed 75. Yeah.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
No, 7. It must be 70.
Yeah.
70?
It was 1952.
Okay.
Yeah, 70. Yeah.
Wow. Bunsen says that they would like to speak to Scrooge about a donation, and as he says this, he holds up his thumb and index finger for the universal gesture of like just a little bit, which is nice because just to indicate that they only want a little bit of money. And Fred welcomes them very warmly and tells them that Scrooge is very generous. Scrooge is not happy about this. Bunsen tells Scrooge that it's important to take care of the poor and homeless. Scrooge says, "Are there no prisons, no poorhouses?" Which I think is another one of these lines that pops up in most adaptations of the story.
Yeah.
It feels like a famous Scrooge line.
It's almost word for word right out of the book.
Yeah, okay. Bunsen, though, still doesn't get the hint and asks Scrooge what he can put him down for. When he does this, Bunsen puts he rests his head on his hand on Scrooge's desk, which just annoys Scrooge even more. Scrooge.
Well, and he does this little finger wag as he says, "What might I put you down for?"
Yeah.
He points at Scrooge and waves his finger around, which maybe we should tease. We'll have more information about that in an upcoming bonus episode.
We will, yes, a special bonus episode.
I have no idea what that could mean, but I'm so intrigued.
It's coming up. Scrooge says nothing. Bunsen says, "You wish to remain anonymous?" And Scrooge says he wishes to be left alone. "I do not make merry myself for Christmas." Wait, is that right? Is that what he says? Is that grammatically correct?
It is.
I do not make merry myself for Christmas.
I think he does.
All right.
Sounds right.
Scrooge says that, no, Fred says that certainly is true. Scrooge says, "I cannot afford to make idle people merry." Fred says that certainly is not true. This is very similar.
Well, I was just going to say that's maybe the biggest Jerry Jewell innovation in this scene.
Oh, really?
Because that's not in the book. Fred, in fact, does not meet the charity men in the book at all. They do
Oh,
not
he's
share
already
a
been
scene
kicked out,
together.
or he's already left by that
So
point.
what it actually says is he wishes Bob a Merry Christmas and all that, just like he will momentarily. Scrooge calls Bob crazy for celebrating Christmas, and then the narrator says, "This lunatic," Cratchit, in letting Scrooge's nephew out, had let 2 other people in.
Oh, okay.
And then that's the charity.
Huh.
But yeah, so they do not share the scene, and I think it helps it so much that Fred is here, like, cracking wise and commenting. It makes you feel like this is part of Scrooge's regular life, that his nephew drops by to, like, to rib him.
Razz him.
Right.
Razz him, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Fred makes his donation and starts to walk out. On his way out, Fred invites Scrooge to Christmas dinner with himself and his wife. Scrooge says he doesn't know why Fred got married. It's a very rude thing to say to a guy who is just...
This is Ebenezer Scrooge we're talking about.
I know.
A very
Yeah.
well-known rude person.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm sorry to break the news. Ebenezer Scrooge is a rude guy.
Wait, really?
This is his thing.
What?
This is his whole thing,
I
Ryan.
thought this was a story about a guy who starts out nice and polite and stays that way.
Listen, I know he's always been nice to you, but other people have had different interactions with him.
I thought the name Ebenezer Scrooge was synonymous with niceness and
nice
kindness.
Guy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Fred says that he got married because he fell in love, and Scrooge says that's even sillier than Merry Christmas. But that doesn't matter. Fred and Bob Cratchit exchange Merry Christmases as he leaves. He hangs up a wreath on the door, which I also remember from the Mickey Christmas Carol. Like, a wreath is very prominently involved in the Donald Duck as Nephew Fred scene.
Right, outside by the horse, right? He's like by a carriage.
Yeah, I think so. So is there a wreath mentioned in the book, or is that just
there's nothing about wreaths in the book when he leaves?
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder do we know what the origin of a wreath is?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, who invented
I've never thought about it
wreaths?
before. Yeah.
You know, a few years ago I read the book Christmas, a Biography by Judith Flanders.
Yeah.
Which is a very good book, and I recommend it highly. And I'm sure that has stuff in it about the origin of wreaths, but it's overshadowed by the origin of Christmas trees.
I wonder if it was one of those things that was sort of absorbed from some kind of pagan ritual or observance, or...
Yeah, it seems likely.
It seems like there were... Well, they're calling wreaths like the things that they used to wear around their head in ancient Greece and Rome.
Yeah, right. So maybe it evolved from that. Like, let's make a really decadent version and put it on the wall.
It seems like Lutheran, according to Wikipedia, I'm skimming it very quickly, there was a Lutheran priest in the early 1800s, and that was kind of where it came from.
And his name was Father Wreath.
And his name was Father Johann Wreath Heinrich. That was
all right, this is such an educational podcast.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. I just want to teach people.
Bunsen and Beaker continue to stand by Scrooge's desk awkwardly. Bunsen says, "Now then, sir, about the..." and that's where this clip ends. So, we don't know. About the what? About...
We're never going to find out.
The aardvark?
No, we're not.
About the wreath? About the... About the... We don't know. Could be anything. When Bunsen opens his mouth in the last shot of this clip, there's this little piece of fuzz that is stuck to his, I guess, what would be Bunsen's lower lip, and it's distracting to me.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at it right now. That's so funny.
I think it's gone by the next shot, so they must have noticed it.
Yeah.
But
that's very funny. Didn't want to reshoot it, though.
His face just hanging there on his lip.
I watched this, like I said, on my Blu-ray, and I got a new TV pre-COVID, and I think this is probably the first time I've watched it on that TV. And it looks very good. Like, you can tell that it's shot on film.
Yeah.
You know, it just, like, looks very nice. And it was not something that I've ever, like, picked up on before until watching it huge in my living room.
Yeah, the Blu-ray looks really good, too.
Yeah. Something I also thought while I was watching this, sorry to derail the conversation.
No, please.
I don't... yeah. There are no Palisades Christmas Carol... Right?
There was...
Besides, like, there's some mini ones?
There was a little PVC of the Ghost of Christmas Present, and...
Why do we think that is?
One or two others? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just never got the full license to make regular action figures.
Because they went all in on Treasure Island. That's why I was like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
You know? Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it has something to do with it being seasonal.
Yeah,
maybe
that, like, they didn't want to have them on shelves other times or something. I don't know.
Pirates are a year-round thing.
I have to think that now, if they just came out with a set of action figures that was like, Kermit as Bob Cratchit, Piggy as Emily Cratchit, Gonzo, Rizzo, Fozzie wig. That would probably sell. I feel like people would probably buy. And
Absolutely.
maybe the ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't know about Scrooge. They'd have to get the likeness rights from Michael Caine.
That's
maybe,
a whole thing. I mean, that was always the dream, was that someday Palisades would be able to make, like, the cameos.
Yeah.
Right,
your cameo.
Maybe Charles
Steve Martin in shorts. Yeah.
Absolutely. I just got the NECA Weird Al, and he's, like, basically in scale with them, and I'm like, oh, I just want everyone to be this scale, because they fit perfect.
That's great. Actually, I'd like a Belinda and Bettina that would be to scale with the other Muppet action figures. That'd be great.
I want, is his name Joe, the spider at the end?
Yeah, he's...
Old Joe.
Yeah,
Old
that's
Joe?
a cool character.
Yeah. Give me old Joe.
Yeah, I don't have any other notes specifically about these 2 minutes. I have one other tangent, which is related because it's about Ebenezer Scrooge being mean to people and also about puppets. And that is...
Oh, that's interesting, because I've always thought of him as a nice guy.
Right. No, but here's the thing. So, go ahead.
Well, just speaking of waiting for him to be nice, the only other thing I was going to say is that I love how long Bunsen just stands there clearing his throat, waiting for Scrooge to make a donation.
Oh, yeah. It's a not insignificant number of seconds of this clip that he's just standing
there. It's like about 10 seconds where he's just standing there.
Yeah. And Scrooge is just either oblivious or probably just ignoring him on purpose, hoping that he'll go away.
Scrooge don't care.
Yeah.
Scrooge don't care. Mean guy.
So in the 1980s, I would often visit my aunt who lives in Dallas, and she would take me to Six Flags Over Texas, which is the original Six Flags theme park. And they used to have this puppet show where it was just a wagon. I think it was in the Old West section of the park. And just a puppet would just pop out from behind a little curtain in this wagon. Sometimes it was a crow, sometimes it was a snake, and the whole show was basically this puppet doing crowd work. The puppet would just talk to people in the audience and insult them, make fun of their clothes and their hairstyles and stuff. I don't know if you could still do a show like this today, that now that people are so litigious. But I once went to Six Flags at Christmas time, and they were doing the same show, but it was an Ebenezer Scrooge puppet who was making fun of people and insulting people. And then at the end of the show, he squirted everybody with a water gun. So that was fun. Scrooge does not do that in this movie. But... I
was going to say, that is my favorite scene in the book, is when he pulls out the water gun.
I would have liked to see that.
Yeah.
But so that was fun. And then I did a little bit of web searching and discovered that the puppeteer who did all of those characters was a guy named John Hardman. And he did this for many decades at Six Flags and also at a mall in Dallas called North Park Shopping Mall. So shout out to anyone in Dallas who might be listening to this podcast and remembers those puppets.
That rules.
Yeah. So that's all I have on these 2 minutes. Anything else from either of you?
The set is so great, and I'm sure you guys have maybe talked about it. I don't know. The set is so great, and it's clearly shot on a studio, but at the same time, those windows feel real. And that's always something I appreciate. The light coming in feels like real light streaming into the room. Yeah. It's just a really the production design's really good in this room. That's it. It's going to be in the next 2 minutes too.
Yes.
So
it will continue to be good. And Anthony, did you have anything else on these 2 minutes, or an old Curiosity Shop entry for us?
I kind of covered all my old Curiosity Shop stuff as we went along.
Yeah, that tends to happen when we're quoting lines that are in the book.
Right. Sometimes it makes sense to keep it until the end, but I already said that the narrator calls Bob Cratchit a lunatic, which is maybe my favorite thing in this passage.
Yeah, that would have been funny for Gonzo to say that.
For Gonzo to say,
Kermit?
Yeah.
Although Kermit's not really acting like a lunatic, so.
No, but I mean, neither is Bob in the book. It's just Scrooge calls him crazy for celebrating Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
Yeah, they should have kept that in.
Lunatic is such a funny early 1800s word. You don't think of that word being around then.
Right.
That's true.
Or that it has a much different meaning or something.
Right. It's darker.
It's
I think it's more referred to someone who was going
criminally insane.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
So then, before we wrap up, Patrick, we like to ask our guests, what's your history with this movie? Where would you rank it alongside the other Muppet movies? And is this something that you watch every year?
Mm-hmm. History with this movie is, it was definitely, it came out, not to age myself, the year I was born. So I don't remember a time without it.
Sure.
It was something that we always had on VHS, and then eventually every other format that it came out on. Leading into the next part of the question, it is not one that I go to rewatch a lot, because the things I like about Muppet movies are I like to laugh and I like silly stuff, and I feel like this movie is not super funny or super silly. There are moments, but to me, it is not what I'm necessarily looking for when I sit down to watch a Muppet movie.
There are a lot of jokes in it, but I think it's more focused on telling the story
for sure,
warm and family-friendly way.
For sure. Which I appreciate and I understand, and I know that a lot of people love it. When I'm just looking for a Muppet thing, it's just not at the top of my list. In fact, when I rank them, and people are gonna come at me for this, it is in fact my least favorite Muppet movie.
Wow.
It is the bottom. And it's purely because of that. And even when I say it's my least favorite Muppet movie, I still love the movie,
Sure.
I still like almost everything about it. But at the same time, if you were like, hey, here's a list of all of them, you have to rewatch all of them, put them in order and order which you want to rewatch it, it would be the bottom. And I've gotten a lot of hate about that online. Whenever I post that, people do not like it.
You should phrase it like this: Muppets from Space is better than Muppet Christmas Carol. Say it like that. And then see what.
Here's the thing: I agree with that.
Clearly, if this is your least favorite,
Yeah. I would much rather watch Muppets from Space because I think it's very silly, and I think there's a lot of very funny things in it.
I agree. I actually like Muppets from Space more than Muppet Treasure Island, which I'll have. I'll have many more chances to say that on this podcast, but.
I think I probably do too, but I like Muppet Treasure Island. I rewatched it recently, and I was like, "Oh, this movie's so much funnier than I remember it being." That's my thing.
Well, it's very silly.
It's very silly, which is what I'm looking for.
Sure.
And then what did I answer all three of those questions? I feel like I kind of did, right?
Yeah, history.
Basically,
The first time you saw it, you would.
Yeah.
So you don't watch it every year then?
I probably don't watch it every year. I probably watch it every other year.
Okay.
Probably once every 2 years I will watch it, is my guess. I definitely watched it a lot more when I was a kid, just because, we had 20 VHSs.
You didn't have an unlimited
so it's just
number of movies to watch.
Yeah. You were just watching the same things over and over again. But probably once every 2 years, is my guess.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, everyone.
So with that hot take, then we will wrap things up for this week. Everyone, please make sure you check out toughpigs.com on the internet and all the usual places. Our logo is by Morgan Davy. You can support us on Patreon. You can email us at movingrightalong@toughpigs.com. You can find me on Twitter at @MeRyanRowe. I'm on Letterboxd at MoviesAreNeat, and Anthony is on Letterboxd at ZeppoMarxist. Patrick, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Patrick Cotnoir, PatrickCotnoir. You can also watch George Lucas Talk Show. It's all on YouTube. I recommend, if you're listening to this, we did a full rewatch of Muppets Tonight with a bunch of people who worked on Muppets Tonight.
Very cool.
Brian Henson, Bill Beretta, so many people, writers, directors, producers, anyone you can think of, builders. It was a lot of fun.
I learned a lot from that too.
It gave us a page on Muppet Wiki, and I lost my dang mind. We're cited in multiple places on Muppet Wiki, and it was just
ever known, and I don't think anybody knew that Phil Van Neuter from Tales from the Vet was named after a Los Angeles police detective who worked on the O.J. Simpson case, whose name was Phil Van Natter.
Yes, rules. It's the best. It's the best piece of trivia.
Yeah, and it's preposterous.
Yeah, but it's very. I think that's very fun. And I think people would enjoy that if you're listening to this. We just did a show in Atlanta at Dad's Garage Theater, George Lucas Talk Show, and our guest was Steve Whitmire, which was very fun and very cool, and it's going to be on YouTube. If it's not already, go check it out.
Yes, that's very cool. So then, that's just about it, listeners. If you don't mind, please give us a positive review on Apple Podcasts or wherever, and tell your friends about the show, your friends, your nephew, the two guys who come into your office asking for money. Tell them all about this podcast, and join us again next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. Goodbye.
Join us next week on the Unemployment Line.